Humans truly are arrogant creatures. We compete in all these sports, in these athletics, and we hand out medals, we pat ourselves on the back, and we say, you're the best. You're better than everybody else. Why are we handing out medals to humans in the 100-meter dash? We're not even that fast. Sure, Michael Phelps won a bunch of gold medals for Olympic swimming, but that's because the Olympic Committee refuses to allow narwhals to compete. And boxing? Don't even get me started. We didn't even come up with that sport. So I decided that it was time to stop trying to be better than these animals, and it was time to start learning from them. And I don't mean to sound racist, but when it comes to climbing, the human race is not even that good. There, I said it. Look at monkeys, for instance. Do you ever see a human that can climb the way a monkey climbs? I mean, that's all they do. They just run around and climb on shit. Now, I've been studying monkeys and their dino techniques for years now. I've really tried to emulate the way they do things, and I gotta tell you, I've made a lot of improvements. But monkeys have a lot more to teach us about climbing than just dinos. Did you know that monkeys actually down climb face first? Us humans have been doing it wrong this entire time. You see, we're up here and we're trying to look down. We can't see anything because we're facing the wrong way. Monkeys have a perfect peripheral view of everything below them, and they can see exactly where they're going. And I know you're probably watching like, who cares about down climbing? I already sent the boulder by that point. I don't need to learn how to down climb better. Well, to that I say you can never take safety too seriously, which is why I tried to learn to down climb like a monkey. So I'm a monkey, right? And there's a banana up at the top. See this one, I go, that's cool. Start. And then I get the banana. I'm like, that's how you eat a banana. And then we down climb like a monkey would. And they just start down climbing. I'm stuck. So if you've ever seen a monkey down climb, this is how they do it. That's it. I think I can get a better one. How do they do it? It turns out that down climbing like a monkey is much harder than I thought it would be. It's basically impossible for a human being to down climb this way. And although it's probably much safer to down climb this way, I do question its practicality. So we really do have a lot to learn from monkeys. We can't down climb as good as them, we can't dino as good as them, and we can't even climb as good as them, which is why monkeys take the A tier when it comes to climbing. Now, the problem with trying to emulate a monkey's climbing style is they just go too far back on our family tree. It's been too long, and we're just too different now. So I decided to move up a peg and try to emulate an animal that was a little closer to our current state as humans. Orangutans are another relative of the human, and they were actually the last stage of ape before we decided to get rid of the dangling nut sacks on our chins. And the thing that makes orangutans truly unique as climbers is their love for swinging.
Now I'm the king of the swingers, oh, the jungle VIP.
King Louie had it all wrong. You don't want to be like me, I want to be like you. So I hopped on some overhang and tried to climb like King Louie would. I feel like an orangutan.
Don't really look like one.
This technique worked out a lot better than climbing like a monkey did. I don't see a lot of boulders you're gonna come across where you need to utilize this, but if you find a series of holds in a row that you need to get across quickly, I recommend giving the orangutan swing a try. And swinging's not the only thing that orangutans bring to the table. They also have their own custom dino technique. And I just so happened to find a boulder that was perfect for testing out this technique. Orangutan, take two. Oh, Jesus fucking Christ. I gotta do it again, wait. Orangutans never surrender. Come on. Ooh. At the end of the day, while orangutans are great climbers, they're still nowhere near as good as the common monkey, which is why orangutans fall into B tier. Now the next animal on this list is my least favorite by far. I cannot stand these egotistical bastards. The ibex is known across the world as the magical rock climbing goat. They get all the credit for being the cool rock climbing animals when all they climb is slab. It's all like V1 or below, and they're mediocre dinoists at best. And I don't know exactly where ibexes fall on the human evolutionary chart. They're somewhere in there. So it was only fair that I gave them a shot to try to teach me something about climbing. Now initially I did some slab using only my feet, trying to kind of emulate the ibex climbing style. And I found that not only was it ineffective, but it was also just kind of unfair because ibexes do use forelimbs. So I went back to give myself a fair shot at climbing some slab the way an ibex would really do it.
Bah. Ibex is bad?
No.
Yes, Lee.
Play a clip of an ibex.
Surprise, motherfucker.
Oh. Damn it. Let's go.
It turns out that climbing like an ibex is much harder than I thought it would be. It is not a viable way for a human being to try to climb at all. Now I wanted to give ibexes a fair grading, put my dislike for them to the side and pick a fair grade for them. But then I did remember that they're the only animals that are too stupid to figure out beta half the time. So because of that, ibexes get a D tier. We did study some of the wacky situations that ibexes get into while climbing to see if they could teach us some other techniques other than slab, like this ibex trying to do a chimney climb.
This is like the inchworm.
Yeah, dude, every animal has something to teach us.
Where am I even going?
Yeah, I don't think as an inchworm you have many options here. You chose the inchworm.
Can I shoot silk out of my mouth?
Yeah.
I think this is as high as
Yeah, inchworm's kind of not really built for climbing.
This had me questioning my entire list because I'd never even considered an inchworm. And Ryan made some good progress on the wall. So I decided to give the inchworm technique a try of my own.
Feels so stupid.
I gotta say, the inchworm climbing technique wasn't too bad. It got me up the wall, it got me to the top of the boulder. But the problem is, nobody gives a shit about inchworms. They're like this big. So we're gonna move on to the next animal, which is the sloth. Now, sloths aren't particularly well known for their climbing, but there is one field that they tend to excel in, which is overhang. Now, I did try to emulate the climbing technique of a sloth, and I found that it was actually probably the closest to regular human climbing technique on overhang. And this made me really appreciate sloths and their climbing ability because they can really keep core tension. If you watch a sloth, they're always perfectly rigid while they're climbing like this.
Running out of options here. It's kind of hard.
But I would like to call into question whether or not a sloth would actually be able to climb like this on a rock wall. You see, it's all fine and dandy if you can climb trees well, but you gotta be able to climb everything. Bears climb trees really well. You don't see them on the list because they can't climb rock walls for shit. So due to this stipulation, I'm gonna have to give sloths D tier because I really don't see them being able to climb much of anything that's not a tree. So after ranking all these animals, you might be wondering, okay, well, where do humans fall on this list? Like, where are we at? Are we S tier? Are we the best? I hate to burst your bubble, but humans are a solid C tier. Given the body that humans have and the techniques we've developed over the years, we're pretty avid rock climbers and we're built pretty well for the sport. We can climb things that no goat or sloth could ever climb. but we're definitely incapable of climbing anywhere close to the skill level of a monkey. And I know you're probably like, what about orangutans? Orangutans got B tier, they're one tier up. Can they climb silence? I guarantee you if an orangutan trained like a human, if they just got off their fat ass for 5 minutes and stopped eating so many goddamn bananas, an orangutan would easily be able to send silence. So you're probably all wondering at this point, wait a minute, then who's S tier? You haven't had anybody in S tier yet. Somebody's got to be S tier, right? Like, who is the S tier animal when it comes to climbing? What if I told you that there's an animal that can climb virtually anything? An animal that could climb across a completely horizontal surface with absolutely no texture or holds whatsoever. The animal that I'm talking about, the animal that takes the S tier for the best climber of all time, is the spider. Spiders can climb on anything. Spiders can climb up, they can climb down, upside down. They can make their own climbing walls using just their body. Not only that, but some of them are excellent dinoists as well.
Ugh.
A spider is the only creature that comes to mind that could not only flash silence, but break the beta while doing it. And the only reason I didn't go out of my way to try to emulate climbing like a spider is because that's already been done before. Which is why the Spider-Man movies are really the greatest rock climbing movies of all time. So I hope you learned something from this video, and I hope that if you're a rock climber, you look at spiders with a little bit more respect from now on.
Behold the great Queen Spider!
Hail, Queen Spider!
Queen Spider?